Up? Welcome to Flavored Vivid. For those of you guys that are new here, my name is Carissa. The way that I do my readings is intuitively. I like to start off in your etheric energy, ground it down to the physical with some general messages. I pull a spread on your finances and career, I pull a spread on your love life, and I close out with spirit guide messages. Now, with that said, let's go over the title of your reading here. So, process of elimination is what I kept hearing when I was pulling your cards. Sag, you have a huge purpose, but I feel like you're in this in between space right now where you're finding it still, okay? Where you're eliminating everything that's not meant for you and you're finding what is aligned for you, what is right for you, where you feel honestly, I feel like saying safe enough to express yourself. And you're in this place here where it's like you keep hearing the call. You know you have a huge calling, and you absolutely do. Spirit's already given you the key. They've already been hidden your line. Okay, it's all here for you. But you've been moving with a lot of intention, but you're gaining this clarity on how to get fully into your purpose. There is a bit of a message though here which I thought was interesting, so I'm just gonna share it. Only take it if it resonates though, where it's just like, are you doing things with purpose? So for example, there's a lot of people that want to be famous, but they want to be famous for the wrong reasons, or they don't have a higher understanding of what that looks like. Like for me personally, and I've said this since the beginning of time here, if I could do things differently, I would not put my face on camera. I would be like an anonymous tarot reader, just because the amount of energy is directed at me on a daily basis is a lot. And you know, people don't get to see it because I filter my comments very heavily. However, I get, it's not just comments, it's videos. I mean, yesterday I sent it to my Sagittarius friend, and I had a video. I mean, there's a lot of crazy people out there. My Sag friend is here, Elisa. She can confirm this for me. There's a lot of really crazy people out there, and it can be quite frightening, especially when you're experiencing a lot of these like attacks and stuff. So sometimes, you know, and I know that I'm in my purpose and I know that I'm protected, but sometimes, you know, we can, being in the public eye isn't, it's not going to be for everyone, okay? And so making sure that you're doing things with purpose. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be a tarot reader here, like as if it's super easy and all we do is flip cards. Yeah, he was nuts. He was, I'm telling you, it spooked me, her, my babalawo. You know, it spooked a lot of us. So I have very cool connected friends though, and a lot of them made me laugh, a lot of them comforted me and sent me a lot of positive energy, so I did appreciate it. Anyways, now, for others of you guys, there's a lot of people that want to be famous for the wrong reasons because there's like thirst for power, control, etc., etc. So it's like always questioning your intent. And that's what the intention part of this card talked about, is like questioning your intent, you know? And so I feel like getting into it of like, why am I doing what I'm doing? You know, for me personally, not that I owe you an explanation or anything like that, but I've always wanted to help others. I wanted to show up for others and be a voice of reason, a place of inspiration, and a light for people who didn't have it. And when I say people who didn't have it, I mean people like me. I never had a guiding light. I didn't have anybody usher me in. I don't have generations of witches and warlocks in my family line or anything like that, you know? And so I wanted to be that for others. And I wanted to be that beacon of light for DV survivors and for women who were diagnosed, and men that were diagnosed with CPTSD. And I created a platform here, and a lot of you guys who have been with me since the very beginning of Facebook days, not just YouTube days, Facebook days, you know my story and you know where I came from. And so my purpose was always to help others. It was never to acquire, you know, ridiculous amounts of money or fame or notoriety or accolades. You know, I went into this with like, this is my calling. I have to help other people, and there is no way that I could like ignore it. I was terrified of it, and that's also how I knew it was for me. It was because I was so afraid. And everything that I was afraid of definitely came true, just to be honest. I think there was also an inner knowing in that here, but I did survive through it, right? I made it through it here. And so there's something where it's like you have this inner calling, you have this purpose that's so much bigger than you can ever expect right now. And it's going to bring you a huge victory, but the victory is going to be like this overwhelming peace and contentment and knowing. It's not necessarily going to be this, parade in your name where it's like Sagittarius and they're doing a march and waving flags and throwing confetti, but it is going to be this victory of like, this is me. And you're going to find that part of you. You're going to find that voice within you to be able to share yourself with others. Right now, though, it's about building connections and bridges between you and other people and connecting with those who can help you, who you can help, vice versa. It's part of like a community here, and it's taking actions to set yourself up for your next opportunity that is coming in. It's like you're making a decision right now and you're deciding what to prioritize. And I feel like there's a lot of prioritizing like your health, and because I feel like you're recognizing a lot of like the wolves in sheep's clothing that are around you with this Trinity card. I'm also getting like the Holy Trinity. There's an alignment of your mind, your body, and your spirit that is going on. Or if you're more religious, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, I believe is that, or like the power of three if you're more, Wiccan or pagan. Okay. But it's like you are adapting to this rapid change, not only happening within you, but happening around you and in your environment and within the community. And you have this like voice of reason about you. You have this wisdom about something that you're being guided to share. And it's going to require a level of strength, of courage for you to share this. It's like seeing things that others are unable to see. You're able to see through this veil. You're able to see through this like darkness. And so a part of you might be like, oh, I can't say this or share this or speak this out loud because people are going to condemn me. They're going to perceive me as somebody who needs to be in a psych ward. They're going to see me this way. They're going to think I'm crazy. Of course, you're going to be crazy to people who didn't get the same calling as you. You're always going to be crazy to these individuals because they want to be right in their own persecution of you, towards you. And there's something here about like anchoring deeply into your soul. Someone here has a huge connection with animals. Maybe you channel for animals, or like you're one of those like animal communicators or something. I don't know. But there's something here, or there's a lot of like animals that are around you at this point in time. Okay, pay attention to the animals around you. You could be leaving offerings in nature as well, or there's a need to leave offerings in nature, spending time in nature. All right, but balancing yourself out. I feel like there's been a lot of thinking. Okay, you've been really in your head. Journaling will be really beneficial for you right now. She's got like a book or a journal, or just sitting down and reading. But you're undergoing a major transformation. And as you can see, there's like a stairwell here. And it's like you're taking steps in all the right direction. You're thinking of your next steps for your future, for your highest good. I wouldn't risk too much all up front though. In those like gambling movies, I'm not a huge gambler or anything like that. Like, if I'm in Vegas or passing through, I'll stick $5 in a machine, whatever. But I'm not really a big gambler. I don't really care for that. I don't like that energy. Not condemning it though. I don't judge others. If you love it, more power to you. I hope you win the lottery, okay? But it's like gambling in a sense of like, how people are like, I'm all in or whatever, and they do like all or nothing and then they lose. It's something like that. Like, be careful about risking too much, okay? Or if you're gonna go gambling or something like that, I would not go all in, okay? Do not fucking risk it. I feel like you're gonna have a really bad result. In regards to your love life, you are working through, or you could be working through, a potential separation here, okay? But what you're really working through on a deeper, more cellular level here is you're stopping the pattern of self-abandonment. And this is happening during this Mercury retrograde, which we are currently in. Spirit's asking you to be patient with yourself during this time, during this process here. And the way that I say self-abandonment, it's not advocating, we can abandon ourselves by like trying to fix others, trying to convince others of our worth, or, overcorrecting other people's decisions. So, for example, I've got a friend, and they went out together. Her and another friend went out together, spent a lot of money, and then they told her like, oh, I didn't have that money to spend, and she tried to like overcorrect in a type of way. That's a type of self-abandonment, where it's like, well, that's not her responsibility to compensate for other people's lack of responsibility, within themselves. And so those are ways that we kind of unconsciously self-abandon, and we do it, because it makes us feel bad. But that's the point of them saying something or bringing that to attention, is to make us feel some type of guilt that's not ours to carry, even though that's them. It's like they feel guilty for the decisions that they made, the irresponsible decisions that they made, right? And so it's things like that you are learning at this point in time, and Spirit's asking you to really harness your full potential, to recognize your strength, and stop carrying other people's injustices, stop carrying the imbalance of others. It's like the tipping scales, right? It's like weighing here, and Sagittarius, you're like, oh, I've got it, but by saying I've got it, it's abandoning yourself in that way. Okay, it's okay to not have it or not to course correct for other people. So, and that's just one example. You can apply it however. Messages, please, for Sagittarius. Messages, please, for Sagittarius. Tell me about this purpose, this calling. Tell me about this process of elimination. So we're eliminating a lot of, they said faith. We're eliminating a lot of, I say we're, I'm not a Sagittarius. We, though, okay, vicariously living through you here. We are eliminating, though, everything that's not working to align to what is working. All right, so there's a lot of elimination happening in your life. Elimination of certain relationships, certain friendships, certain jobs, certain energies, belief systems, patterns, whatever it may be. Okay, which is amazing, because this is preparedness of retrograde season that's going to lead into eclipse season. So it's like you're eclipsing out early. You're just ahead of the curve, baby. You're ahead of the curve, and we love that. So Spirit wants you to anchor into faith right now, hope, inspiration, and rejuvenation. Let's go ahead and read that card for you. Card number 14, breaking down to the number 5. The number 5 can represent change. Change can feel challenging. It can feel chaotic. And these are normal energies to feel with this that specific numerology. Okay, your cycle came 1 week earlier, like I said. That's crazy, Sky. Okay, so faith, it says, allow for success to come in whatever form that might be. Recognize opportunities and follow them regardless of other people's opinions or beliefs. Abide by your own set of rules and no one else's. Follow your creative passion and creative endeavors. Appreciate the good that is now. The universe wants to make you happy. Stop making it harder on yourself. Make your choice of how you want to fill your cup and how you want your life to be by what you want to pursue and what you are passionate about. Choose intuitively what lights you up, what makes you feel excited, what seems natural and easy. That is the path to deliver what you want. Goals and expectations will then be accomplished very quickly. Stop fretting, get out of your head, and release worry. You have the answers that you seek. The world is yours. Completion is coming if you can muster the faith and surrender. Seek creative self-expression and freedom to be exactly who you are. Your affirmation is, I allow the energy of love to flow through me. I let go of all self-limiting beliefs. And I really love that, because that's exactly what I was already talking about with, everything that I've said leading up to this point here. So very aligned. All right. Walking in faith and not fear. Putting your faith in the divine, God, the universe, spirit, whatever you believe in, your higher self. All right. Messages, please, for Sagittarius. What do they need to know during this time? Ooh. Messages, please, for Sagittarius. Okay. Journey. Beautiful. You're on your own unique journey. There's a lot of choices and decisions, pathways, curves. You've got contract, a spiritual contract. Could be a physical contract as well, but I'm immediately getting in the woman holding the coin. It could be a physical contract as well, where you're being offered, a job, a position. We'll see what comes up in your financial portion of the reading. But for now, I feel like this is a spiritual contract, like a soul journey that you're kind of experiencing to keep it on soul level. And interesting that we were talking about the balancing scales earlier, and how it's like you were trying to like carry the weight that were tipping over from other people, and now you have them balanced right here. So it's like part of the contract to balance. Yeah, card number 6, Virgo energy, divine feminine energy, being more receptive to opportunities, number 1. Number 2, Virgo energy, the 6th house represents your daily routines, your belief systems, stuff like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we've got. Journey is clarified by the initiate of cups in the reverse. So this is the people pleaser, all right? So it's like you were on this journey to like recognize the way that you may overcompensate for other people's shortcomings. 10 of Pentacles in the reverse and the 2 of Wands here. And that kind of took you off path of your own legacy, because it's like you're trying to build up other people's while abandoning yourself here, or doing what you were told that would make you successful. Like, I'm a millennial. We were told, okay, you grow up, you pick your career. We had career day. You go off to college, you do everything right, and by the time you're in your 30s, you're going to have a house, you're going to have a boat, you're going to have everything that you want, which was a fucking lie, okay? Now all of us are in our 30s here, and no. that's not true. None of that really happened, right? So it's kind of like following your own path, not following the path of others. That's showing up here. Okay. So tell me about contract. All right, we've got the 7 of Wands. Yeah, your contract is divinely protected. Like you are genuinely. I'm not here to stroke your ego. You are divinely chosen. Genuinely. I'm not saying that in like a way of like you're better than other people. No. We're not here to do that. But your soul is chosen. Like this is not your first lifetime, okay? This is like you are a master. You've already mastered this. And that's what Spirit's asking you to like harness your full potential. This could be a lifetime of literally like I'm hearing final draft. So of like your final draft of like soul contracts, of like any little minor thing that you went through and you're like, okay, we dotted all our I's, we crossed all our T's. This is kind of what your lifetime is looking like here. And that's why it feels like at 6th house, again, Virgo energy is very meticulous, okay? They're very detail oriented. So this is absolutely that. You could have Virgo significantly in your chart. You don't have to, though. The universe, you came here for fucking completion. To complete a cycle. The universe is the world card, by the way, in this deck, personally. To complete a cycle here. And a process of elimination. Look at that. They're on one little tiny, like, iceberg mass. I don't really know what it's called. And things are melting away. It's process of elimination until there's nothing there, right? And so that's what I'm that's exactly what I'm seeing here. Yeah, 4 of Cups. What's meant to be yours will always be yours. And Spirit's like been waiting and like handing it to you and waiting and handing it to you. Virgo is your rising sign. I love that, Marie. Thank you for that confirmation. So there's something coming in. There could be a need to like sit out in nature by yourself, have a little picnic, okay? Enjoy some time outdoors or getting outdoors, sunbathing even. Slowing down, being more present, okay? Some of you guys slowing down, being more present. Others of you guys could already be doing this. I know that my Sag friend was like laying in a hammock, living her best life yesterday. All right. Love her for that. And I love that she chose to share that with me. That always makes me so happy. I love seeing my friends do well. But tell me about woman holding the coin. You have the Novice of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so this is like, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? You know? Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Emperor card in the upright. I'm getting like Master of None energy. I don't know exactly what that whole quote is. I forget. There's like way more to the quote than just like Master of None. But it's like you're good at so many things. You're very multifaceted, multidimensional, and it's about kind of finding a way to anchor all of that in. So, an example of that, I don't go by Carissa's tarot. I don't just do tarot. I also host healing retreats. I do counseling, jack of all trades, master of none. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. So, I go by FlavoredVivid because I choose to flavor my life vividly. It's me. It's an expression. And I do so many different things, and I'm also an author, and I have my hands dipped in everything, and it can all be encompassed in just one way of expressing myself vividly, flavoring my life however I want to. And so you don't have to limit yourself to just one thing, but it's like, how are you choosing to express it? Can you master one thing at a time? That not even master, can you harness one thing at a time, right? So that your energy is not too scattered. The Emperor card here and the Elemental of Cups, I feel like you're a very creative person, very, very creative, but you lack strategy though. And so it's just like, how do I execute this? How do I do this? And that's part of the process of elimination of like, well, we don't do it that way. That didn't work. We don't do it that way. That didn't work for me. And so there's a bit of process of elimination there. All right. Tell me about Angel of Strength and trial and error, like doing things. I mean, I also make a lot of handmade products, and there are times where I've like made a product and haven't gotten one sale on it. And I'm like, all right, well, that product's not going to be stocked in the shop any longer. That was embarrassing. It made me feel like a fucking failure, but it doesn't mean that I'm a failure. It just means that wasn't what was wanted or needed at that time, and that's okay. You move on and you're like, okay, well, that doesn't mean I don't ever make another product again or put myself out there again. And so there's reason to the madness, even though we may not understand it in the moment. Angel of Strength is here as your overall, and we have the Tower card in the reverse. I feel like this is like catastrophic thinking, where it's like worst case scenario of like overthinking of, I'm always going to be a loser, and I'm always going to be financially inept, and whatever you're thinking to yourself. It's catastrophic thinking, okay? Three of Wands, and it's like you're thinking about your future, and you're like, I don't know how to get out of this position I am in right now. And Spirit's just reminding you again, what you're doing right now is part of the process of elimination, which is pushing you into this. You don't have to get into it. It's not like you're not jumping into a car that's like speeding by with the door open. It doesn't require that. Okay, it's like the car is parked and you just forgot where you parked it. That's it. And so just take your time and be wise about it here, and kind of walk through the parking lot. Like, enjoy the walk through the parking lot. Ten of Wands in the reverse. It's not always going to be like this. Spirit wants you to know it's not always going to be like this. You're not always going to be in your head wondering who you are, what you're meant to do here. And remember that your purpose can be fluid. It could change throughout the day, the time, the year, depending on like what is needed, what is desired to be expressed. And so that's why, like, for me, I could never commit to just like one fucking thing. I just can't. Like, those people that go and they're like, I'm a lawyer, and they know that through and through, and they do that from like their 20s for the rest of their fucking life. Like, no. That's just not for me. And I know that it's for other people, and I totally get it. Like, sometimes I'm even like, man, I wish I had that, it'd be so simple. But I don't do simple. I do complicated, I do messy, I do chaotic, and I harness it. All right. And so for some of you guys, it's kind of like that. Or maybe you've been half of your life and you're like, I'm a lawyer, right? And you worked as a lawyer here, and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Now I don't know what I want to do or who I am, but I know I've changed, and I know that there's something more for me out there, and that's okay. And it's okay to make those changes. All right. So yeah, listen to, be careful of like the overactive crown chakra. Yeah, based on like some sort of financial constraints that you may be feeling, where it's like you're overworking yourself. Okay, you're overthinking here. Just kind of let these thoughts pass through you in a neutral way. And neutrality just means like when a negative thought comes up, that we have to be practical. We are human. We have to pay bills and shit. So I'm not dismissive of that. However, but like when these thoughts come through, approach it with like neutrality of like, Well, that's interesting. Yeah, but no, I know myself well enough and I'm walking in faith. You know what I mean? Um, oh, I apologize. That's this. That's my little button. Or you can't see it. That's the button here. I will wrap it up. It's just because my tits are so big. So I'd be like, to my desk. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Shame on you, ladies. Behave. You big back bitches. Okay. Anyways, jokes aside here. The curse of the titties. Alright. Genuinely, though, I do want a reduction. So. These things get in the way of, like, everything. Also, as I've gotten older, my back aches. I want to be part of the itty bitty committee. Alright, messages, please. Messages for career and finances. What does Sagittarius need to know? Alright, cutlery. Okay. Chess in the reverse. Alright. And investments. Okay. There's a lot going on there. Let's see. You've been here too, but I'm totally flat-chested. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I paid for these, and now not that I regret it. And I was obsessed with Pamela Anderson growing up, and like still to this day am. I freaking love her. And so, I went and I got big boobs, especially after breastfeeding like 3 kids. I just was very dissatisfied, to be transparent, I guess. And now I want my implants removed. I would like to go back to my normal. I think it makes me look very like wide, and like I'm actually not. Like I'm like this is my frame, but my tits make me look like fucking huge. These things are just monsters, honestly. I've just changed my mind and I don't like it anymore, so one day I will do that. It's not in my budget right now, so we're just suffering with the consequences of my choices and decisions. So, messages here. I was weirdly into like plastic surgery for like a good 5 years there. When I say plastic surgery, I mean like Botox and lip injections, and now everything is just more natural these days. I don't do any of that anymore. Alright. I think it was Salt Lake City that the elevation was like getting in my head. Do you like the way I like justify it in my brain? Like, if you knew Salt Lake City though, you would know. You would know. Okay, just go watch like Secret Life Mormon Wives or The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. That's what I was around, okay? Alright. Okay, cool. Wow. Alright. Some of you guys are meant to be like investors. You could definitely have a gift like around money, strategy, stocks, Bitcoin, stuff like that, cryptocurrencies. That could all be very powerfully aligned for you here. But it is a good time for you to start a new job or like a whole new career. And there's a major shift from like one thing to the next, okay? I feel like there's fear though around finances due to like wanting a nest egg. And that is totally totally normal. I mean, especially in this economy, all of it, all right? But we have cutlery here, and so some of you guys might be doing like little temporary jobs, like working at a restaurant or something like that to kind of mitigate your finances or things of that sort here. It's like bartending, serving, and not that those are little jobs. We are not dismissing that, okay? At all, at all. At all. I know that those industries can make a lot of money. Maybe you've been in that industry for a long time and you want to transfer over. You're like, I want to get out of this, right? But we have, new beginnings coming in, and there's something like hidden that's coming to light here. It's illuminating, and you're going to find out about like these new jobs, these new opportunities. You're going to find this, like, you're going to tap into this new inspiration here. There could be something that lends you a helping hand, or you just hear something. When you hear something and it just clicks for you, like it's like that light bulb moment almost, and that's what I see coming in, okay? And I don't even see, like, don't even think it through. Like, I know it sounds really stupid and like bad advice. I agree. If I heard that, I would probably be like You know, but I feel like this is something that you're kind of just meant to like jump into. Like, don't even test the water. You know, the water is water. Like, you're fine. You're fine. There's no crocodiles in the water, is what Spirit's showing, okay? Some of you guys are meant to work in investments here. And there's something about like cashing in on all the good work that you've done, raises, bonuses, prosperity, okay? Any investments that you make. So investments can be anything. Like we can invest in ourselves. We can invest into a business for ourselves. We can invest into going back to school. We can invest in property. We can invest in crypto and stocks. We can invest in companies here. We can buy our way into companies. There's those types of things where it's like, investments, whatever it looks like to you, whether you're investing in your education, you're investing in your knowledge and your wisdom, you're investing in a mentor, these investments are going to pay off big time for you, okay? And some of you guys are meant to be in the public eye. You are meant to use your voice, whether this is like a podcast or, you know, you're just meant to use your voice for change, all right? And your opinions are important. And I feel like you need to hear, like, your opinions are important. Your way of storytelling is really funny and it's really relatable. And it's like people need to hear it because you're going to give courage and give way to other people that you don't even know that you're impacting, all right? And I feel like you're stepping into, again, your purpose where you're going to feel very fulfilled. Until then, though, it's kind of like living off of savings or conserving energy. It could just be energy, like, or wanting, desiring to have a nice cushion for yourself, which totally get it, you know? But money matters a lot right now. And I feel like it's important to think about these things, but not in a way that is completely stressing you out or where you're catastrophizing everything and spiraling, but in an inspired way of like tapping in and, you know, holding yourself and be like, okay, what do I want to do? Well, today I feel like doing this, and I think that this would be a good idea. And you never know, like my dumbest videos or like comments or things like that are the ones that pop off. And the ones that I actually take the time to sit down and do, and I put like a lot of work into, or I re-record them or whatever, they get like 300 views. And I'm just like, nice, love that for myself, okay? So sometimes it's just like the most innate expression here. That works out better. You know, some of you guys, it could be learning about investments, meaning, you know, learning about stocks, learning about crypto, learning about these things. Like, I spent the time to learn all that, learn about fucking candlesticks and dips and all the other terminology and everything like that, and then I got really into it for a minute here. And I personally have stuff in stock and crypto and all the other stuff, okay? So we're not going to get into that. I don't give advice like that in my readings, but I'm just saying, you know, if that's something that you're into and you're really good at reading data, that could be something that is very powerfully aligned for you. You don't have to just do one thing. It's like this spread is all about like, what do you want to do to bring in something that feels rewarding for you, okay? And that's going to be illuminating here, but all that you need to know is that you are in a brand new beginning of creating what you want, but you don't have to do it in just one way. It doesn't have to be like one set pathway for you. Okay, 3 of Swords. And I don't think you're happy with one set pathway anyways, okay? I think this is like soul draining, okay? Okay. Why am I saying okay so much? Elder of Swords. But you don't have this like clarity yet, you know? And I was gonna say, and that's okay. I'm sorry. But follow your intuition, follow your creativity here, follow your drive. Like, what are you passionate about? That's going to be your new beginning. Ace of Pentacles. That's going to lead you to something substantial. And that one thing is going to lead you into another thing. The Hermit card. By sitting in your own energy, by, you know, that's how it's going to be like illuminated. It's just going to kind of like dawn on you, okay? And it could come from a random tarot reading, okay? Or it can come from listening to a podcast. It can come from hearing something on the radio, reading a post. Do people listen to radio still? I think so. I don't know. I have not personally played the radio in who knows how long. But the Chariot card here, Yeah. I feel like you're kind of at a rush to the finish line. Remember, I gave that like example of like you think the car is driving past and you just gotta like perfectly time it and jump into the car. Baby, this isn't Mission Impossible. This is your purpose. This is reality, you know? And so that's what I'm seeing here for you. Yeah, the Emperor card, and you are gonna come out on top, but just give way. Kind of surrender here and have faith to walk into this and know that you will be very fulfilled when the time comes. But right now it's the process of elimination and eliminating, hey, that's not my car, that's not my car, that's not my car, and it's okay. I went through so many fucking jobs. Okay, I've done everything. I've been a stripper. Yeah, me a stripper. Yeah. Weird. I have worked at a law firm. Even weirder. Okay, I was like a manager of like communication at this department here, and I like registered all the walkie talkies for like security at concerts and stuff like that, and I would be the one that did all the programming on those things. Weird. Okay, I've been a waitress. I've done so many freaking different things. I've been a bartender. Like, I went through so many different stages here. I opened up a children's boutique. Did you guys know that? I opened up a children's boutique out of my house. It's not like an actual boutique in a store center or anything. But I did. And it's just like, these were all just like weird little hobbies. And I just chalked it up to, well, Carissa, you know you have ADHD. So, but it wasn't that. It's like, that was my process of elimination. And what's interesting is I talked to a psychic when I was like 17 who told me that I would run a successful business. So I always knew that I was like meant to run a business, but she could have told me that I was going to be a tarot reader. Like, that was a bitch move, don't you think? Bitch move. Like, I paid for that, and I went through and opened up stupid little businesses along the way that didn't work. Process of elimination, though. All right. Anyways, moving forward here, and I don't just have a tarot business, I have other businesses, but you know, just using what's in front of me for an example. Okay, moving forward, my loves, let's get into your guys' love life. Matters of the heart. Matters of the heart, please, for Sagittarius. Thank you. Okay, we've got commitment, recent past, breaking up in the current energy, and your future energy is confession. Ooh. Got a secret. Can you keep it? All right, the runner. Nice. Okay. Somebody regrets breaking up with you, Sagittarius, or you regret breaking up with them. There's like a wanting to come back around, all right? She didn't want me to take her out. No, she was great. She was fucking great. She was in a different country here. My ex-husband is Bosnian, so we were trying to get rid of a haunting in our house. It was a weird time in my life, okay? Turned out that she was offended. The ghost in our house was offended because I had a ghost on the door. I was like, how the fuck do you know that? All right. I didn't know. Whatever. Weird times. Okay, I had a ghost decoration on the door. I've never decorated my house during Halloween with ghosts ever again because I don't want to mock spirits anymore. Learned that. Never done that since. Anyways, moving forward. Now I can see spirits, but my third eye was definitely blind. That's why I was with my ex-husband. So let's go ahead and move forward, though. All right, commitment here. 8 of Wands. You put a lot of work into a relationship, Sagittarius. I really feel like this was you. Okay, 9 of Wands in the reverse and the Star card. Like, you really thought this had a potential to be, like, wish fulfillment. 7 of Swords. But somebody was moving a little more underhandedly when it came to you. Ace of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, I feel like this person had a lot of disdain in their heart. And not towards you, but just towards life in general. Like, this person's genuinely not happy with, like, their life or where they're at. I feel like they're in the midst of, like, still finding themselves as well. Yeah, 5 of Swords here. Like, it wasn't meant to, like, harm you, but it did unintentionally harm you. Because, you know, they weren't in this, like, embodiment energy. They were in, like, more of a disempowering energy, which vicariously impacted you, right? I feel like you're not even, like, arguing, or you didn't even argue about the separation, or if this was, like, you know, you're like, I can recognize that you're disempowering, this is not aligned, I'm not even, like, this person didn't even argue with you, they're like, yeah, I fucked up, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, you know, whatever it may have been, however it may have been. The Initiative Cups, okay. A lack of self-love, a lack of self-appreciation. Your future energy here, though, with Confession and Photograph. You've got a secret admirer. This isn't even the same person. It can be, I guess. But I feel like there's a Leo that's admiring you, or you have Leo in your chart. Could be a Taurus. And they're like not telling you their feelings towards you here. It could definitely still be this person, but this energy feels different. So it could have been like you guys have taken time apart and they've recalibrated, recentered themselves. But you've got other eyes on you anyways. Seven of Wands. They just don't feel good enough for you. Like, if this is the same person, this person's insecurities are kind of getting the best of them. Like, they don't feel good enough for you. With the Seven of Wands in the reverse, they feel very defeated. But it's like they have a hard time, like, expressing themselves. Like, you're great at communication, but this person sucks at it, kind of, is what I'm getting. And this Mercury retrograde is just not helping. Because this Mercury retrograde is pairing with, like, the Pluto retrograde. We've got Chiron retrograde. We got, Neptune, we got Saturn. Like, there's just a lot of restriction. There's a lot of like internalization happening right now, and it's definitely impacting this individual. Yeah, Two of Cups in the reverse. And so they're on this weird scale of like kind of pedestaling you and feeling like you're better than them, or like that you'd never like them, that you could never be together. Okay, Temperance card, because they see you as somebody who's very empowered. They see you as somebody who's very confident. Like, the Temperance is you, Sagittarius, so this is how they're viewing you. And then meanwhile, they're like self-deprecating, being self-depreciative. Self-deprecating? It's not where you like poop yourself. I don't know if I said that right. I don't know, but now I'm overthinking it, so we're just... I don't think this person's pooping themselves. Okay, these... She poops at parties? Party pooper. Okay. Elder of Pentacles. They just feel like you are so self-assured and you've got everything together, and they just feel like they would anchor you down or like bring you down. But at the same time, they want a new beginning with you. They really do. They want a do-over. They want to like get back financially, okay, or feel more secure with themselves, and then come back around for a do-over. They're definitely missing you, okay? Do you guys remember that, or am I just like way too much of a millennial for that? I think it was like a German guy, and he goes, my coworker, he told me Karen is a party pooper, you know? He's like, she poop at parties? I don't know how he's defecating. Thank you. Okay, so I was way off. I don't know why it sounded so wrong in my head, but that's alright. We'll just... Listen, I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep, not even lying, okay? I didn't go to sleep until like 5 o'clock in the morning because the Schumann resonance was like spiked as hell. I literally had to force my eyes closed, and I was like talking to my angels and my guides. I'm like, please put like a sleeping spell on me, like help me fall asleep. It was so bad. I was like, I swear to God, I'm gonna crash out if the sun rises and I'm not asleep yet. So yeah, and this is my brain on the 3 brain cells I've got left. Okay, anyways, back to you guys, my loves. Okay, Initiative Pentacles. I feel like this person's not being very practical though about like what they can offer you, because they're so in their head. They do want to like rebuild themselves, but the thing is like that's also running under the assumption that like you're just going to be around waiting on them forever. And like that's also under the assumption that you wouldn't be able to be a pillar of strength with them and like stand with them and like build each other. You know what I mean? Mosquitoes flying. Oh no. Yeah, yeah. So building each other up. It's like you guys could work together. Like these two hands are holding hands, but he's like, oh, he just said he, so it could be he or she, of course, but they're, you know, refusing to like see that it could be empowering for each other. So I feel like this person kind of self-sabotaged their way out of a connection with you, but that's not what they genuinely wanted, and they did it because they genuinely think that you are just so, they put you on a pedestal that you didn't even ask to be on, you know, and I don't know, what's the point of this coming up, Spirit? The Lover's card, because they're going to make a choice or decision to come back around towards you or to reach out to you. They are going to communicate. I feel like they're going to communicate more so when like Mercury goes direct though. I don't know exactly what day that is, but I do know it's next month sometime. It's like in the middle of August. If you know what day, drop it in the live chat here. I'd love to. I just don't have it, the ability to even conjure it up, honestly. Yeah, judgment. And then at that point in time, you're going to have to make a judgment. Like, do you still want to proceed forward with this, you know? Or is this something that you're not interested in any longer? So that's why this is coming up, is because somebody has to confess, like, I've always cared about you, and, you know, this is what I was going through. This is where I stood, and I don't know if it's the right decision, but it's what I felt like I needed to do. It's like they need to learn how to communicate better with you. And Spirit is asking you to embrace this energy with an open heart, but that doesn't mean that you have to, like, accept it, you know? You do not have to accept it. Some of you guys are going to be already interested in a different person, or in a different direction here, and that's going to be kind of the other person may struggle with that. Okay, they might struggle with that energy of like, yeah, see someone else. It's like they might struggle with the energy of like you having already moved on or going in a different direction by the time they come around. But that's just kind of a risk you take when you do things like that. I mean, you didn't communicate that you wanted Sagittarius to wait around, so I just feel like that's a weird entitlement issue. That's a whole nother issue. Well, we're leaving it. We're leaving it alone. Do as you feel necessary. I personally always tell my friends and stuff like that, clients, etc., actively waiting, meaning like if something comes around that you're genuinely interested, say yes to it, absolutely. But it's like that doesn't mean that you're closed off heart-wise to like the other thing. Don't put yourself in weird like third-party situations, of course, unless you're into that and you're polyamorous, in which case, good for you. Go ahead, do your thing. But you know, yeah. I just kind of feel like somebody sabotaged a little bit. Messages, please, for Sagittarius to close this out. Okay, we've got important downloads are coming. We've got ask what this is teaching you. So there's like a lesson here. And then again, process of elimination. We do have this is an important person in your life. We have you give so selflessly. It's your turn to receive. You are being protected from harm. And trust your intuition on this, okay? Bottom of the deck here. You are meant to help somebody else this week. For some of you guys, it's you're meant to ask for help from somebody else or advice or something like that as well. I don't know why I just heard that, but I did. We are sending you healing. Be open to receive, or somebody could be coming to you for advice. And pay attention to the animals around you. I mentioned that. One of you guys is like Snow White, okay? Even if you're a male, you're like the male version of Snow White, okay? You're the Prince Snow White. All right, anyways, love you guys. That's what I've got here. I hope this helps, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, Saji.